apologies for the feedback and the distortion. But welcome all to another episode of the Jokatech podcast. I'm your host, yours truly, Jokatech. My oh my. This cannot be understated. It cannot be overlooked. Now, I just did a podcast. I did a visual podcast for the first time in a long time, doing a breakdown of Fury Usyk 1. Now, I didn't go in like I could have. Part of me wanted to really go in. But I said, you know something? Let me just do a breakdown technique-wise and illustrate some of the things people are missing. Because what was irking me was you had boxing pundits and currently active fighters that were literally having the nerve to say Usyk lost the first fight outside of him landing that punch in round 9. And I'm like, wait a second, what's going on here? You've got laymen, and now it's becoming everyone's a layman. Everyone's looking from an aspect of somebody looking very simply. You're all being fooled that simply? Now look, I was never high on Usyk, personally. But I'm honestly critical of Tyson Fury's technique, and I've always criticized where he can do better. What did you see me do in the breakdown of the first fight? I said, you look at his jab work, way too sloppy. He likes to flick of the jab. He's not active enough with it, and he was giving Usyk too much real estate outside of his right leg the whole night, opening himself up for the angle of that left hook, and opening him up for shots to the body. He was attacking the body and brilliantly at spots in the fight, but he wasn't active enough with it. He wasn't keeping the jab active. He wasn't turning Usyk. He wasn't keeping him at bay. When he did that, double and tripling up the jab, following with a 2 behind it, or doing the lead right hand every now and again, he had little moments of success. But by and large, he was not effectively doing it, and he was getting pressured, and he was getting shellacked. Usyk did not win the fight by the skin of his teeth. Usyk was not getting masterclass. But somehow these lazy thinkers, including Hall of Famer and current boxers, are actually sitting down convinced that that's what they saw. But now what happens? They all make their predictions. Oh, part 2? It's Fury's fight to lose. He was joking around the first time. He was masterclassing. He was boxing the ears off of Usyk. All he's got to do is just be serious, and he should be good to go. Okay. Now, I knew that was nonsense from the moment I started hearing that. But I stayed quiet. I did a breakdown of the first fight, and I said, look, this is what Fury needed to do, and this is what Usyk did. And I also said Usyk had more of the tank. To be honest with you, he could have pressed, he could have did things a little more actively if he wanted to. He could have stayed on the attack. Not just round 9. You forget, he hurt him in round 8, 9, and 10. And he hurt him earlier in the fight in the middle rounds, like rounds 4 or 5 as well. He had success with the left hand, and he measured it. He feinted with it. He changed the speed. He changed the angle. He threw it to the body a couple of times. He started setting it up, and he started setting it up as a single shot because that's how many opening lanes Tyson was giving him. And I watched it, and I said, wow, Usyk is measuring this guy, and he's starting to see the lack of IQ that Tyson has. He's not fooled by all the nonsense, by all the shuffling back and forth, and they're trying to act like you're boxing cue. You could do all that, and he was still seeing the lapses, as I was. I said, you know what? All that cute stuff that he's doing, first of all, it's all he could do to keep Usyk off, and he's ineffective. All Usyk had to do was press what he did more, and I said, this guy shows me no answer for it. He has you all convinced he was playing around. He's going to adapt, go back to the tank, come out, and shellac him. Really, he's fortunate that he didn't get KO'd. Tyson Fury really is fortunate because I honestly thought that's something that could go down. But absolutely, I did not have him pegged to win this rematch. The reason why I didn't go into it is because the proof is in the pudding. The real main flaw was the fact that you all thought he won the first one. I went back, did film study on the first one on a couple of occasions, and I said, you know what? Tyson is a guy that has shown the ability to adapt with certain opponents in the past, usually when they have more flaws than him. But there are certain things that he does that I know are not going to be good at the elite level. Even things that he did when he fought the Predator, Press Zangana. There's stuff he did that they were like, oh man, what is he doing? Stuff that he did in the last Wilder fight. I said, man, what is he doing? Slowing down, staying way too close, being there for certain shots, having the middle guard just opened up. It's like, bro, he was doing so many things flawed in his last Wilder fight. I said, this is just not good. He's got to clean this stuff up. And what does he do? He's going back to the drawing board doing the same entire thing. He had you all convinced that he was going to bring some pressure. I'm going to put a hurting on this guy. I knew he was just talking. Why do you think they had to bring regulation in for his beard? Because he was using every last-ditch effort that he could because he really didn't want to be in there. So he said, you know what, let me just grow the beard out and let me just make up an excuse that I'm in beast mode. He really wanted the cushion. That's how terrified he was. He didn't want to be there. And, you know, he storms out after the decision as if he's up in arms. Bro, you were supposed to come in there and dominate. Forget about scorecards. You were supposed to dominate and put such a hurting on this dude, according to what you said, that he'd be finished. But see, I knew it. I knew he wasn't going to come with that, man. First of all, stylistically, Usyk has always been a poor matchup for him. That's why he struggled with Otto Wallin. He doesn't deal well with fast infighters that are smaller and compact. They give him a lot of trouble. That's why I gave him props for fighting Otto Wallin. Because that wasn't an easy fight. But you're fighting a better version of that in Usyk. So you better come with it, bro. And I knew he wasn't going to. Because I said, I hope this guy isn't buying into the hype. I hope he's not buying into everybody telling him that he's this masterclass guy. I really hope he's not buying that. And he did. He drank the Kool-Aid. And he thought, oh, I got this. And he got shellacked. And I want to go on the record, this is what was going to happen, and I saw this coming. The fact that so many boxing pundits were dead wrong on this is very disturbing. Very disturbing. But it just goes to show you, as I said to a colleague a week ago, the age of the connoisseur, I believe, is dead. I spoke on this when I did the Magnum Opus album. I said,
Misread.
At an angle, redirect the momentum. A style is like a part of you, in control of the spectrum. You've been overpowered and controlled when you were too close under the vector or too far to explode. Listen, the framework of this is interception. No debates when the mind state is educated, misdirection and expression. Put your whole hips behind it because a little hesitation, the danger could find it. There's three forms. Passive, ready, and go. Never separate the flow or you become your own victim. In the end, it's all we ever are. When I learn to step the right way, I could walk on a star. The life of a slave is more than circles and bars, I guess. I hold the sword the way I hold the pen. It's love fist, a scientific way to write a loving end, like a letter to a friend. Closed fist or open palm, revealing the healing of
what really is a connoisseur? Because when you analyze them today, you find they're not very deep thinkers in their field. And that's a problem. And that's a sign of the times. That's not the way it's always been. These guys are supposed to be specialists that are absolutely endeared toward the sweet science. You look at guys like Sean Porter. I didn't really hear Malinagi's take on it. I'd like to hear his take. But Sean Porter, some other heavyweight fighters as well, they're coming out and they're talking, and I'm hearing them like, you sound like fans. You sound like lay fans.
Even Lennox Lewis. I'm sitting there like, wait a second, bro. You were a technician. And you're not catching the fact that this guy is lazy with the jab, not active enough, not good enough with his footwork, getting beat to the punch, giving up real estate on his right. Like, you're missing that, bro? This is what you do, and you're missing that? And you're talking like the average person off the street. Oh, he was boxing so good, he was winning around easy, and then he just got lazy because he was playing around too much. Really? I expect a layman to say something like that. You're really going to tell me, as a pugilist and a professional and an expert, that's what you saw happen in the first fight? For real, bro? That's what you saw happening. Come on, bro. Did you not see him getting tagged? Most of the rounds, it's not even like he was showing ring generalship. Remember what I said, too, in the breakdown. Usyk was controlling real estate from the very beginning. He was playing the stamina game from the start because he had this guy on his bike. He's backing him up, and because he's getting those nasty angles on him, and he's ripping him with the uppercuts, and he's coming in with the lead left hook, he didn't even have to set it up. He didn't even have to set it up. He was just coming in and measuring it and throwing different variations because he had Tyson that confused by it. And while he's doing this, he's fatigue bombing him, and Tyson's getting tired, making him easier to hit in the later rounds. The whole thing was beautifully set up. That's what he did. Usyk wasn't giving away rounds. Just because in some of the earlier rounds, you can't even say that. In the earlier rounds, before Tyson started getting tired, he had good hip movement, and he was elusive. He was slipping shots, and he was rolling with shots. Yeah, because he had to. He's doing that while he's eating a large percentage of them. And on his back foot. And behind this is a lazy jab. Bro, he lost the rounds convincingly. But, speaking of masterclass, I'm going to be doing a music masterclass in the very near future. So stay tuned. I just need to put my 2 cents in on this. But you haven't heard the last of me. Anyway, you were listening to the Jokatech podcast.
My star rising over my horizon. You are my butter.